Coming up in this Brightline construction update. This is the fifth installment of my mini-series documenting the progress on the replacement of the Florida East Coast Railway's bridges in southern Brevard County, Florida, in preparation for Brightline. We'll start in Melbourne at the Eau Gallie River, then work south to Crane Creek, Turkey Creek, Goat Creek, and the Sebastian River. Here is the Eau Gallie River. Crews have recently begun installing the temporary work trestle that will allow the crane to work out over the water. The first two spans have been installed and they are working on installing the next set of pilings. The four pilings sticking up are what will actually support the trestle. The ones on either side are just there temporarily to hold the template that keeps the pilings spaced properly and keeps them vertical until it's time to pound them into place. Once this trestle is built across the river, crews will begin building the first half of the new bridge. Once it is complete, they will transfer the trains onto it and then begin demolishing this old bridge. They will then build the second half of the new bridge in its place. So far, there have been no changes on the old bridge. Here's a closer look at the section of the temporary work trestle that has already been completed. Here's an overview of the bridge looking from the east. And here's a look back at the staging area for the materials and equipment for this bridge. Looking south past Sarno Road, you can see some of the ties laid out for the second main line. The next stop is at Crane Creek. There has been lots of progress here since my last visit. Most of the bridge piers are complete, and the first two sections of beams have been installed. The beams being installed between the piers here are metal and are painted a light blue, unlike the concrete beams being used on some of the other bridges. Each span looks to be made up of three main I-beams side by side that have been connected together to make each span a single solid piece. Work is still progressing on the headers for the other piers. One span of the new bridge will have a modified beam higher than the rest to increase the clearance underneath for boats. Once this half of the new bridge is complete, the temporary trestle the crane is on will be removed and rebuilt on the other side of the tracks so so the old bridge can be demolished and the second half of the new bridge built in its place. Here's a closer look at the first span shortly after it was installed a week earlier. The last time I was here, crews were just cutting down these pilings in preparation for the header. The numbers spray painted on the pilings signify how long they are, so crews can track how deep they are going. Next up is Turkey Creek. The crane has finally arrived here. The pad it is sitting on had just been finished the last time I was here. Now that it's here and assembled, it shouldn't be long before our work begins on the temporary work trestle. Here's a look straight down at the crane. Materials for the temporary trestle have started to arrive and are stored around the site. Goat Creek in Valkyria is next. The first half of the new bridge here is complete, and track has been laid across it. While I was flying, crews were making preparations so that trains can be shifted onto the new bridge shortly. Additional ballast had been brought in earlier in the day by work train AFW-1. Crews were preparing to spread it out as I was flying. Once trains are moved to this new bridge, crews can start demolishing the old one. Another crew is doing some work on the old track near the bridge. Farther north, a third crew is also working on the tracks. These crews on the north and south ends are working where the existing main line will be cut. It will then be dragged over and aligned with the new track to go across the new bridge. Here's a closer look at the new span of the bridge. Here's a ballast regulator in action. Water is being sprayed on the ballast to help keep the dust down. From this view, you can see how the new track has been built with a broader curve, which will allow faster speeds across it. Our last stop is the Sebastian River in Roseland. The temporary work trestle has finally made it completely across the river, with 2 cranes now working on it. With work on the temporary trestle complete, crews have shifted to working on the new bridge. Crews have been removing spans from the unused side of the old bridge and have been installing pilings where they were for the new bridge. Here's a closer look at the new pilings and at where the old spans used to be. As you can see, the old bridge piers supported both tracks, so it is not possible to remove them to make way for the new pilings. That is why the new pilings are being installed in between. The old piers will be removed down below the mud line so that they do not interfere with boaters in the future. The east end of the bridge has not seen any progress yet, but crews should get here soon. Coming to the Indian River County side of the river, there does not seem to have been much progress on preparations for the second track. Here's a full flight across the bridge. Around the curve here is where the current Mico siding is located. The south end of the siding is where a set of crossovers is being built that will eventually be known as Control Point Mico. While hard to see here, the signals are already up for it. And to finish up, here's an overview of the entire bridge. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Also check out my social media pages.